We are back with the Avatar tier list. This time it is season 2. But before that, shout out to Restless Roman for making the tier list. The first episode, the Avatar State. This is a big episode. We get introduced to Azula. That's, I think, the most notable part of this episode. But also, we obviously get the whole plot with Aang trying to master the Avatar State and the general guy, I forgot his name, trying to force Aang into the Avatar State by threatening his friends, which, it does work. But obviously, Aang and Katara and Sokka, they're not really rocking with that. So they kind of dismiss his proposal. But he did prove a good point. I'm gonna put this one into so good. It is a good episode. Like I said, Azula is in here, which is huge, but I'm just gonna put it here because there's so many good episodes, and maybe I'll put it into amazing later, depending on how the rest of the ranking goes. But for now, it is just in so good. But the Cave of Two Lovers, I low-key want to put this one into peak. I love this episode so much. It's just, we finally get that little bit of Aang and Katara romance. We get the nomads, who are just amazing, and they make fire music. So yeah, I'm gonna put this one into peak. I just love this episode, and it's followed by another great episode, Return to Omashu, which I'm gonna put into amazing, the top of amazing right now. Not that anything else is in there, but Return to Omashu, this is obviously the introduction of Ty Lee and May, who are great characters, but we also get to see more of Boomy, and I like this episode because it's very plot relevant. It's not more of a self-contained episode, kind of like, kind of like Avatar Day, and kind of like Avatar State, where Avatar State is kind of less so, because Avatar State is kind of more relevant in the long term, but you get what I'm saying. Like, it's more about the overarching plot. It's more relevant to that, and obviously we get more character development from the new characters, Azula, who's going to be very important throughout the rest of the show. So Return to Omashu is going to be at the top of amazing. I'm going to make these kind of quick just because I don't want this video to be too long. There are 20 episodes after all. Next up is the Swamp. I think I'm going to put this one into peak as well, just because the one guy, the Swamp Bender, I forgot his name. I should know his name, but it's been a while since I watched the show. The one who is lecturing them about, well, not really lecturing, but he's telling them about the swamp and the tree and how everything is all connected, you know? And we're like, oh my gosh, slow down. The nations are all divided, but really, we are all just one people. We're the same. We also have really good bending sequences, obviously, like when they're fighting the big swamp monster controlled by the Swamp Bender. That's pretty fire. We also get the other swamp benders who were trying to eat Appa, I think. That's not cool, but they're funny. So the swamp is going to go into peak. Should I put it above Cave of Two Lovers? I don't think so. I just personally love Cave of Two Lovers so much. Okay, Avatar Day though, this should be pretty unsurprising. It's just going to go into pretty good, because I do think it is a really good episode on its own, but it's just not really important. It's kind of like The Great Divide, where, well, not kind of, it literally is this season's The Great Divide. But I think it's entertaining, and we get to see Detective Sokka, and we get to see Kyoshi, so I think it gets a bit of a bad rep, but I'm going to put it into pretty good at the very top. And then Blind Bandit, I'm just going to put this one up here. I don't think I really need to say much about this episode, but I will, just because that's the whole point of the ranking. Toph is introduced in this episode, and Toph is the GOAT. Need I say more? But no, there's just a lot of good bending sequences here that we get to see earth bending like we never have through Toph, and Earth Rumble is also very fun. The boulder, he's funny. Sokka is very funny this episode because he's just like, oh my gosh, he's funny all the time, but just, I love Sokka, man. But this episode, another reason why it's so great is because it introduces us to the seismic sense and just the idea that earth bending isn't quite as simple as it's been shown to be so far. And Toph not only is an amazing character, but she just adds so much depth to the art form that is bending. Dang, well said. Zuko alone, this one's gonna go, I'm gonna put it behind the Blind Bandit actually, because it is a great episode, but the Blind Bandit is just better, man. But no, Zuko alone, we get obviously so much of Zuko's backstory, which is just huge. It's just, he's the best character in the show from a writing perspective, and some people say he's like the main character, which, you know, I can't even really argue with that. The show is really about him, not about Aang. I don't know if I completely back that, but it's valid. We get to see his backstory, we get to see him struggle, and obviously he's not even near his redemption at this point, but this episode is one of those that just makes you really feel for him. No matter how evil he is, because he is still very evil at this point, you still feel for him. You want him to be better, and it just makes it so satisfying when he finally becomes better. Not at the end of this season, but in the third season. Okay, and then next up we got The Chase. This one is really good too. See, I told you, there's too many good episodes in here. I'm gonna put it, I want to put it into peak, but I'm putting too many things into peak already, so I'm gonna put it ahead of Return to Omashu, just because I really like the dynamic that the team has with Toph already, and by dynamic I just mean the conflict and how, you know, Toph literally just met these people, but they're already like a family, a dysfunctional family at this point. Not overall, but just in this episode they are dysfunctional because Katara's not getting along with her, Aang's all tired, Appa's tired, he's part of the family too obviously, and Sokka is he's just tired, man, he's just there. But the end of this episode where we get the whole showdown, it's just such a great fight sequence, and it really shows Azula, it makes Azula even scarier. She just gets more and more powerful to the audience throughout the show, throughout this season, and this episode is why. This episode really says a lot about her and about like Zuko as well, and about how Zuko still has so much work to do, but the fact that he turns on Azula at the end is really satisfying, because even though he's not even like I said, he's still evil. It's still just satisfying to see him on the same side as the gang. Bitter Work is gonna go behind Zuko alone. I got 5 episodes in peak already, bro. I might need to lower some of these, but maybe not. We'll see. Bitter Work is just such a great episode. Like I said about the Blind Bandit, Earthbending just has so much more depth in this season, obviously, because this is book 2 Earth, and this episode is just really good. It's, you know, a lot of training from Toph. We get to see more of her personality and her kind of masculinity, her dominance, and just how tough she is. But really, the best part of this episode is Sokka getting stuck in the ground and then getting taunted by what's his name, Fufu Cuddly Poops. Pretty funny. Love that part. This show is just so funny. I think people don't appreciate just how funny this show is, and not like dumb funny, like normal kids show funny, but just like it's actually smart humor. I'm kind of glazing, but I'm talking about when Sokka is stuck and he's talking to, I think, Aang, and Aang or whoever he's talking to is just like, I feel like I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place, and Sokka's like, yeah, I know the feeling, and it just keeps like, it's just a bunch of jokes like that. It's really funny, and I just want to point that out because it's probably like top 10 funniest moments in the show. Okay, the library. This episode, oh my gosh, this one's gonna go into peak 2, isn't it? Yeah, this one's gonna go into peak behind Bitter Work, and you know what? We might have a lot of episodes in peak, and that is okay because they are all peak. They all deserve it. The library, I forgot the owl's name. What is the owl's name? Wan Shi Tong. That's it, Wan Shi Tong. He's a great character, and this episode is just, it's very important, obviously, because it establishes the Day of Black Sun, which is not even gonna happen until like a full season later, and it still works that they reveal it this early. That's just how good the writing is on the show. But anyway, this episode is just a lot of fun, and I don't really know what more to say about this episode. Like, it's really cool that they're in an underground library and they're all exploring, and you know, Wan Shi Tong, they have to watch out for Wan Shi Tong. They eventually have to flee the library as he tries to get them. It's just a very cool and narrative relevant episode, which literally applies to pretty much every episode here except for Avatar Day. The desert. This one is pretty mature. Most people know that this show is surprisingly mature for a kids show. It has a lot of deep themes that you won't understand until you're older. You could watch this show as a kid and you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Then you grow up and you're like, oh my gosh, this is so much deeper than I thought when I was a kid, and also this is the greatest piece of media I've ever seen. The desert obviously deals with the gang stuck in the desert. Sokka gets high on cactus juice. Aang is all upset because Appa's gone. Katara is just trying to hold them all together. And Toph, I don't even really remember what Toph does in this episode. She's just, you know, she's there. I'm gonna put the desert into, I'll put it at the top of amazing for now, but who knows, maybe I'll put it into peak later. And then the Serpent's Pass, I'm gonna put this one above the desert, I think. Suki returns, which is awesome. She gets reunited with Sokka, and what else happens? Zuko meets Jet, and that becomes a big thing. And obviously we get to see Zuko and his journey into Ba Sing Se at the same time as the gang. And yeah, it's just a really cool episode. I love that Suki returns. I don't really know what else to say. I'm kind of just explaining the plot on that one, but I mean, I don't know. Like, it's a great episode. I guess the big thing about this episode, character-wise, is Aang not being so upset anymore and learning to have hope even though Appa is gone. And then the drill. This one's going into peak. I'll let you know now, but I don't know where in peak. I think I'm going to put it above, you know what? I'm going to put the Cave of Two Lovers above the library, and then the drill behind the Cave of Two Lovers. No. I'm going to put it ahead of the Cave of Two Lovers. Drill, obviously a big action sequence, and Azula is there. She fights Aang, and they infiltrate the drill. We get to see one of Sokka's best moments as he kind of orchestrates the whole taking down of the drill, and you know, it just shows how he doesn't need to have bending to be useful. He's still the GOAT, and we just get to see everybody bending to the fullest here, really. Katara gets a great chance to show her bending. Toph, Aang, Azula. It's just a great episode, action-wise, and yeah, I love the drill. The drill is cool. City of Walls and Secrets. This one, of course, just follows Aang and the gang and Zuko's experiences in Ba Sing Se when they just got there, and at the end, we get introduced to Long Feng, who is not quite evil yet to the character's knowledge, and I think I'm gonna put this one just at the top of amazing. It's followed by Tales, which is peak. I'm gonna put it third right now. Maybe it should be first, but I'm gonna put it third. Tales is just amazing. We get to see Katara and Toph bond, and we just learn more about Toph's character, which is great, and how she views the world, you know, being blind, not even knowing what she looks like. It's just a really good dive into her character, and Katara as well, as Katara is just being supportive of her. But then the other stories, Iroh, obviously, I don't even know what to say about Iroh's part in this. It's just so sad, man. It's so well done, and it's just like Iroh, his character is just so amazing. Obviously, I could make a whole hours-long video about Iroh. People have probably done it before, but Iroh, just his whole character and all of his moments speak for themselves. For now, I'll just stick to the basics about him. He's just such a mature character. He's just a perfect example of humility and healthy masculinity and just kind of just being good. Even when he's surrounded by so much evil, he's still able to do so much good through not only just his actions alone, but through the impact he has on Zuko, who he knows is just such an important figure in the world because of his status as the Fire Lord's son. Iroh knows just how important it is that Zuko is not going to turn into his father, and in Tales of Ba Sing Se, when we learn about Lu Ten, it makes it all hit so much harder, and I don't know what more to say. The rest of the stories are great. Sokka raising up the ladies, Zuko also raising up the lady, who some people say he should have been with. Honestly, pretty valid take, because because Mei is, I don't know about Mei, bro. She's a good character, but just like Zuko, come on, bro. That other girl that you met in Ba Sing Se, she was way better. So yeah, Tails pretty easily gonna go into Peak, top of Peak, and then Appa's Lost Days. This one is a sad one. I don't really know where to put it. I do like seeing Suki just because I like Suki as a character. I love her design, and the Kyoshi Warriors, just in general, are so fire, dude. They're so fire. Even though their whole thing is Kyoshi, who's an earthbender, they're just so fire, bro. I'm gonna put Appa's Lost Days into Amazing. I'm gonna put it behind the Serpent's Pass. Okay, but now I'm seeing that the Chase is all the way back here. So I'm gonna put the Chase at the top of Amazing for now, and then Return to Omashu is also gonna be top of Amazing. Yeah, so just a couple changes here, couple changes. And then I think I'll put the desert into, no, the desert's good. The desert's gonna actually go ahead of City of Walls and Secrets. And then the rest of these I think are good. Appa's Lost Days, this is a good one. It's just sad. It just follows Appa and he goes to the circus and he gets abused and, you know, Suki saves him and stuff. It's a great episode, but I kind of yapped about the last couple episodes, or Tails at least. So I'm gonna just move on. Lake Laogai. Here we obviously dive deeper into the Ba Sing Se, I don't even know what to call it. The Dai Li and Long Feng controlling the government and the entirety of Ba Sing Se, hiding the war, which is very impressive after how long it's been. And then Jet, not exactly sure what happens with Jet. It was really unclear. This one I'm gonna put, I think, above City of Walls and Secrets, and I think above the desert as well, just because a lot of important stuff happens and it's just a good build up to the last couple episodes of season 2, which I think are the peak of the show. The Earth King. This is the one with the incredible opening sequence where a bunch of kids invade the capital of Ba Sing Se. They just roll up in there and oh my gosh, they just got so much aura, bro. All of them are bending. Sokka, did Sokka actually do anything? I don't even remember. Look, I'm looking back on the sequence. I'm trying to remember it, and I don't know if Sokka did anything, because this is one of those cases where, you know, they're fighting a lot of Dai Li, and you kind of just, you know, you need the benders there. You need the benders. Sokka, I'm sorry, but those earthbending guys, I don't know if there's much you can do. This episode is pretty much the gang just taking back Ba Sing Se from the Dai Li, from Long Feng. Unbeknownst to them, Azula is putting in that work, taking over everything, or at least, you know, she's about to. She's about to take over Ba Sing Se in like a single episode. I'm gonna put it into Amazing. I don't know where though. Just ahead of Lake Lao. Actually, no. I'm gonna put it at the top of Amazing, but I'll actually put the Chase ahead of it, and maybe Return to Omashu. Yeah, Boomy. I like Boomy. We'll put the Chase, or we'll put Return to Omashu above the Earth King. These ones are pretty much one episode. It's a two-parter. So, well, I don't know if it's technically a two-parter, but it's pretty much a two-parter. I think they were released together, right? Were they? Hold on. Yeah, they were. So I'm gonna rank these two together, and I just have to put them at the top. Crossroads first, of course. I think these two episodes are the best in the show, and this is just Avatar at its peak. The Guru takes Aang to meet a really interesting character who has a lot to offer him and shows us even more about the world and just, you know, chakras and just how bending works and the power of the Avatar and being able to control the Avatar state. Aang makes the decision to give that up and to choose Katara, at least for now, and then at the end he doesn't. But a lot happens in the Guru. Toph gets captured. She creates metal bending. Katara is kind of just hanging out in Ba Sing Se until she discovers that Zuko and Iroh are just chilling, having a tea shop. Sokka is with Hakoda, and Azula is taking over Ba Sing Se, so pretty awesome. And then in Crossroads, everything just comes together so perfectly. Zuko and Iroh get dragged back into the conflict, and Aang and Iroh have their interaction, which is just so amazing. And how Iroh's like, he says, I think you were very wise to choose, or what did he say? He said, perfection and power are overrated. I think you were very wise to choose happiness and love. Something like that. Zuko and Katara have their interaction, obviously, which is just such an amazing bit. It's one of those moments where I'm like, you know, Zutara shippers, that's, maybe they're onto something. But then it all comes together in the Crystal Caves, and there's the whole fight sequence, and Zuko ends up falling for the dark side once again. Azula is just too manipulative. So we get that whole fight sequence with Aang and Katara and Zuko and Azula. It's just amazing bending there. It's just so cool to see the ways that they choreograph these characters, the way they think of how benders would actually fight each other, and it's just so cool to see. It obviously looks very good. The animation is amazing. And then in the end, Aang decides to let go of Katara, and it doesn't even work, and he gets slimed out immediately. But Iroh's there to help, and then Katara, with her hair down and tears in her eyes, oh my gosh, it's just so peak when she goes and she sees him and she's like crying, and then she goes and makes the huge wave and she picks him up, and, you know, he's in her arms, and then she does a little spiral thing up and they escape, and it's just like, dude, it's impossible to watch that without getting goosebumps. It's just like, it's so perfect, and I don't even know how to explain it. I don't know how to actually analyze and critique it and tell you why it's so amazing, but it's just, it is. The stakes and the twist, and I don't even know what to say, dude. The episodes, they all speak for themselves, which is just me saying, I don't know how to actually explain why it's so good, but it is really good. It's just this, oh my gosh, it's so peak. And then the season ends, and we had to wait however long until the third season, which was just insane. I mean, I didn't have to wait. I was literally like learning to walk and talk when this actually came out. But ending the season like that, you know, on a kids show, like, it's not a kids show, man. It's obviously directed towards kids. It's very suitable for kids, but this is not a kids show, bro. I'm serious. This is like an everybody show, which is not like a hot take. Like, you know, that's just how it is. People know that. It's just like, if you think this is a kids show because you haven't seen it or anything, I won't blame you, because it looks like a kids show and it's marketed that way, and it was aired on Nickelodeon, but man, it is not a kids show, bro. It's not a kids show. You gotta watch it, bro. It's not a kids show. I'm crashing out over nothing right now. Okay, let's see. Do I want to change anything with this ranking? I might have a couple things too high, but I don't know, dude, because like I said, every episode is just so good, and this might be the best season in the whole show. It's either this one or season 3, obviously, but I don't know which one takes the cake. Maybe I should take a couple things out of peak. Maybe some things aren't quite amazing. No, they are amazing though. I don't really want to change anything, but I feel like it'd be lazy if I didn't change anything. I feel like this is a pretty accurate rating though. Let's just see. Let me make sure that I have all the like episodes ranked correctly in relation to each other. Like not just the ranks, but just like, is Avatar Day the worst? Yes. Are these two the best? Yes. So do I think any of these should be above the other? I do like Cave of Two Lovers. I was talking about how much I liked Cave of Two Lovers, so I could low-key put it above the drill. The library, honestly, I think I want to put it behind the swamp. Yeah, I'm gonna put it behind the swamp. I'll put it into amazing, actually. I'll drop this one down. And then, is there anything I want to drop into so good? I think I'll put Appa's Lost Days in so good. Serpent's Pass, though, I kind of do want to keep it in amazing, but actually, I'll just put this one in so good as well. Not just even it out. Okay, I'm not just doing it to even it out. Well, I am doing it partially because of that, but also just because I do think it belongs in a separate tier compared to these ones. City of Walls and Secrets can also go into so good. The desert, yeah, the desert, I'm not gonna put, I don't think the desert's quite amazing, but it is so good. Lake Laogai, though, the rest of these, okay, I think I'm actually gonna put a lot of these into so good. I'm not just doing that to do it, because so good is still a high ranking, you know? It takes a lot. It takes something to be really great. Is that even proper grammar? It takes something to be really great. It takes something really great to be in so good. Because so good is just another way of saying so great, kind of. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not. I'm just yapping. Okay, I think this is about right. Yeah, this is my final ranking of season 2. Let me know what you think of my ranking. If you think it's stupid, let me know. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe and comment if you enjoyed and you want to see the book 3 tier list. But for now, I hope you have an amazing rest of your day or night or whatever. And until next time.